Thanks, Caroline. It's nice to be among people who are happy to talk frankly about money. I was talking to Andy just before this about how in this country we are remarkably worried, quiet, shy about talking about what's in our bank accounts or anything, what we earn, any of that. You go into other countries, and America, everybody is talking to you about their investments. In China, the first thing they want to know about you is how much do you earn? Yeah. But here, absolutely not. In fact, I've had a number of conversations with TV producers who've said things like, well, we'll go into a family that's doing very badly with their money, and you can have a look at their bank accounts and tell them what. Well, stop now. Stop right there. Honestly, people in this country, if you put the camera in front of them, they'll tell you about all the sexual partners they've had. But the moment you say, so what's in your bank account? They're like, how dare you? Wash your mouth out with soap. So, as Caroline points out, it's an attitude. One of the things that we're having to deal with is an attitude of mind that needs to change. In fact, I have a sense of déjà vu just talking about financial capability. I'm thinking, when I was growing up, I heard numerous reports on the news telling us the astounding news that apparently smoking is bad for you. And this went on for years until finally we had smoking bans and people accepted, yes, smoking is bad for you, but it did take a while. And as a financial journalist, over the years, I've had, I don't know how many press releases of reports, studies from the Money Advice Service, from companies and agencies that are here saying, look, we are not good at saving. We are far too indebted. We keep hearing this over and over. So thank goodness, frankly, we now have a financial capability strategy that can take this knowledge and do something about it. So we all know there's a widespread problem and that some sort of education is needed, but while these studies have gone on, the ignorance has increased, as the last person said. I was amazed by the Money Advice Service's own figure that the number of people who cannot pick out the balance on their bank statement has more than doubled in the last 10 years. In 2005, 9% of people could not pick out the balance on their bank statement. This year, it's 22%. How did that happen? I mean, apart from everything else, in that time, I know that the amount of financial information has mushroomed. I'm part of it. I set up Money Magpie in 2007, and it's a daily irritation to me that I'm in actually a very congested area. There are loads of websites, you saw the owners of some of them on the video, daily putting out articles, newspapers put out articles, there are videos, women's magazines, women's websites are doing it, banks are doing it, and I know that the debt charities daily are helping people to manage their money and helping them deal with debt. So we have wonderful work being done by all sorts of agencies, but it's lots of different agencies and individuals working separately. And I think the point of this strategy is to pull all of this together so that we have a multi-pronged attack and we can actually bring people, more people, into the level of financial capability that they need to be at. So I know I'm preaching to the converted when I say that Brits desperately need help in understanding money in order to keep them out of unnecessary poverty and debt. But are we as clear about how much this increased financial capability would contribute to business and the state, not just to the individual? Let's look at business first. Now, admittedly, a more financially capable consumer base would be bad news for payday lending companies, pawnbrokers and dodgy PPI dealers, but employers would certainly be net winners by millions. Are we as clear about how much this increased financial capability would contribute to business and the state, not just to the individual. Let's look at business first. Now, admittedly, a more financially capable consumer base would be bad news for payday lending companies, pawnbrokers and dodgy PPI dealers, but employers would certainly be net winners by millions if their workforce were more stable financially. Last year, the Office of National Statistics reported that out of the 131 million sick days taken in 2013, 15 million were due to stress, depression, and anxiety. So looking at levels of financial capability around the world, it's kind of comforting to know that we're not the only ones that are a bit hopeless. There are other countries that know pretty much nothing, particularly it seems the southern states like Italy, Portugal and parts of the Eastern Bloc. The USA, perhaps vaguely comparable to the UK, although a bit further advanced than we are, particularly when it comes to investing. They are far, far less frightened of the stock market than we are, for a start. In America, surprisingly, 2/3 of Americans rely on Social Security as their sole source of income after retirement. About 20% of the US government spending goes on pensions, which is pretty much the same as it does here, about 20%. However, they're ahead of us when it comes to a financial capability strategy, would you guess? In 2003, they established the US Financial Literacy and Education Commission, which was tasked to develop a national financial education website, mymoney.gov, and a national strategy on financial education. Sound familiar? For the last 50 years or so, we have assumed that the state will pick up the tab. And now we're having to wake up to the fact that we're in a different economic environment. So I think that as people do wake up to this, they will be more eager to understand and to learn how to manage their money and therefore how to manage their lives and their future lives. So I particularly welcome this new financial capability strategy. I think that the work that has already been done by so many different agencies has been helpful, but by pulling them together and using different strategies for different types of people at different stages in their lives should mean that together we can push the country to the point where we can be not just as good as Germany, but better. Thank you.